Honestly, sometimes Apple is holding its ecosystem back for the most ridiculous of reasons. But just when you're done with them, they do something that's so absurdly useful you can't help but forgive them. This iOS edition, they're bringing Car Key.
Ta-da!
Welcome back to Need to Know. Feeling stuck in a rut? Change your gear. Android users do it all the time, starting with their phones. Although, if you're an Apple user, well, you can't just up and change yours in the middle of the year. iPhones come out in September after all. What you can do, though, is get the latest iOS update and freshen up your experience a bit. iOS 13.4 has already fixed some mistakes of the past and is about to introduce the coolest software feature we've seen in an Apple device yet. As for iOS 14, that one could unify the UX across the entire ecosystem and make the best use of space yet. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. iOS 13.4 hasn't yet landed in settings. It's close though, close enough that we know what it's gonna bring. And this time around, I tell you, it's gonna be more than some awkward emojis, although Apple wouldn't be Apple without them. So yes, 9 new animations will drop soon. Some are cute but basic, while others, rolling eyes, steam coming out of your nose when I guess you're about to go full Dracarys at work, and face filled with terror, are gonna fill your chats all year. That's not even our top 5 most awaited features though. No, we're more excited about the iCloud Drive folder. You will finally get to share it with your connections, turning it into a much more handy Dropbox. And if we're talking about productivity, I think we're all gonna breathe easier with the new Mail interface. Move and flag buttons are back. You won't have to search through a menu to find the action wanted. It's going to be right under your nose. Siri doesn't get much smarter in the update, but she will be constantly awake. You'll be able to trigger the voice assistant at all times, even when your phone is covered or it's positioned face down. App purchases are made easier than ever too, both on macOS, iOS, and watchOS. How come? In-app purchases via Watch will be authorized from the wrist with a button click. As for macOS and iOS, Apple has finally streamlined the process so that an app that you buy on macOS will appear on all other Apple platforms too, and vice versa. Shocked that didn't happen before? I don't blame you. Honestly, sometimes Apple is holding its ecosystem back for the most ridiculous of reasons. But just when you're done with them, they do something that's so absurdly useful you can't help but forgive them. This iOS edition, they're bringing Car Key. As the name hints, Apple is giving its users the chance to open their cars with their iPhone or Apple Watch, thanks to the magical powers of NFC. Yes, it's that easy. Starting from iOS 13.4, they're letting users save an NFC car key in their wallet. Then, with the help of their car maker's app, they can unlock, lock, and even start the engine with their NFC-connected car. Of course, Face and Touch ID are adding that extra bit of security that you may feel you need. But you can skip it as well through Express mode. What's important here is that Apple has found a way to make the future possible now. We're talking about biometrics used to unlock cars and control in-cabin systems, personalizing the entire experience. We hope in 5 or 10 years' time, those would make key fobs obsolete. Well, guess what? Apple is doing it right now through a software gimmick. It's not as sophisticated as we imagined, but it's a nifty trick all the same. iOS 13.4 also has some small updates for Apple TV, and there's rumors of a new Apple TV this year, but we couldn't say what it entails or when it will come. What we can do is hope for a bigger focus on multitasking when iOS 14 will be out. Expected this June at WWDC, iOS 14 will have something for everyone. Unlike previous versions, it will support all iPhones starting with iPhone 6 and 6S, including iPhone SE. However, it won't be available for iPad Mini 4 and Air 2. Even so, when it drops, there are 2 features we most expect and it's likely to include. 1. Multitasking like on iPad. iOS 14 should enable iPhones to work with two apps simultaneously, in a split screen or picture-in-picture way. It has made our lives so much easier on iPad, and there's no reason why we shouldn't enjoy the same functionality on iPhone, especially when we're referencing information from notes on Messenger to then put them in order in emails. 2. iOS 14 should rethink the home screen and incoming calls graphics. Why not let more relevant information live on the home screen? Like on Apple Watch Face, we'd unlock our phones less and save the time we'd normally use searching for it. And why not make incoming calls narrow pop-ups instead of giving them so much screen space? I think overall iOS 14 should and could make the most out of the screen space iPhones have. But that's us. What features do you want to have in iOS 14? And how cool of an idea is car key? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget, subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to see more videos like this. See you guys!